someone's got to do that.
But it might be interesting to have like a confederated list of all members of all spaces in Texas or the region or whatever.
Yeah.
With, you know, kind of a skills, like a skills inventory. You know, if people from spaces needed things, because I'm a producer, so I develop projects. But if I need people, well, I cast the net. And it might be nice to have a net to, you know, a pool to go in and fish in and, you know, find the people I need from a community that, you know, I'm comfortable with.
Right.
You know, it's almost not fully vetted, but I'm comfortable with the people that I'm going to get.
Can somebody go to, it's called JangoPeople.com or something?
Yeah, it's an awesome site.
It's basically just a list of every single person who does Django in the world.
Wow.
You can search geographically, but you can choose which level of exposure. You know, you want to expose your name, you know, your image, kind of like what your availability is, whether you're looking for projects or not. Well, of course, we should probably all collude and form a mafia. So that people, that's not a competitive, you know, we're not like undercutting each other in price. You know, we'll put you on the website for $50. No, we'll do $40.
Yeah, I mean, they could.
Right. The great co-trusting
of
2011.
All design work's $2.50 an hour.
Oh, right.
Gotta stick with it.
Yeah, this is the new mafia forming right here.
Yeah.
And then we'll collect protection fees.
Be careful, because somehow I know with Paul this will end up on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Lately, I've been pretty negligent, though, about getting stuff on YouTube.
The red light's good.
There's a chance it might not.
All right, so
Good to see you, man.
what if we were to add to this idea that we had some sort of web representation of this group, and you know there was a fee. I'm thinking a fee for companies to basically submit jobs to this board.
Well, I think the other thing, I think the liability is a really good point, and I think the other thing you could do is, you know, basically, you know, form some sort of company so that you could have insurance and stuff, and then pay somebody to do all the paperwork for you, basically.
Yeah, because you need business development. People aren't just going to walk up and go, oh yeah, I think we'll do that.
Right.
You have to need someone to be able to, you know, go out there and say, hey.
It might take a little infusion of cash on the front end for the big long-term payoff.
Something to keep in mind. The forming a company is not what I
Want to do?
I mean I've got other things to do than run this sort of thing. But it was an idea that I was pitching. So let's start with the Google groups, and we'll start pushing gigs around and start firming that up.
So and then a Google group for catalysts.
A Google group for catalysts.
Google group for all members of all spaces.
I think you need one for gigs, like maybe a
just
gig
a gig board or something.
Yeah.
So okay, this is a good way to segue into the next piece. So the idea was for all of us to meet before Southwest. Before we get to that though, let's talk about coworking visas. Because that's been talked about a lot on the national list, but nothing's actually done. I've never had anybody come to my space with a visa and say, hey, I'm from wherever.
Right.
We've had a bunch of people come in. Yeah.
No, granted, I'm in Bryan, Texas, so like.
Sure. Yeah.
So let me go and disclose right now. Y'all will never come to my space, but I'm going to be coming to all y'all's spaces. So just realize that. Like, I realize that. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, free visas, man. Let us go wherever we want. I've got an office everywhere. But so let's talk about.
Be an exchange rate in that case.
So it's weighted out differently.
To peg your currency to the Dallas.
Wait. As long as it's tied to the cost of living in my city.
Zing.
Co-working visas.
So like you pay for it, and then like everybody shares in the profits.
So that was one way of approaching it, though.
Well, the current visa program that's out there is basically a semi-organized space belongs to the visa program, and then they agree to give, I think it's up to 3 days of free time to a member from another space. That's what it is now. But
do we need something that's set apart from the national visa thing?
I don't know.
Texas is a whole other country.
So is it being used by anyone? I mean, it's being used by us. People are definitely coming in.
We've had some Austin people drop in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Drew's not officially on the national one, but anytime somebody from another city calls us and asks about it, we offer the free code.
And we always do first day of co-working's free, so it's, most people only stay in town one day anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, any of the space owners in the nation are always welcome for as long as they want to work. It's not the issue. I mean, the passport program really works if we have like a list of people that are traveling within these cities
Right.
often, and I don't know that that's the case. I think that's why it's sort of everybody's lightly talking about the passport program because it's not being used that heavily. And that may be because of education or not. People don't think of co-working when they go into a city and work, which is something that we all deal with outside of the passport problem.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it's probably not a huge pain for that many people. Like,
Right.
So just like visiting for like a day, it's usually friends. And, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like you always kind of know somebody
Yeah.
if they're coming to work at your place at present. So it's like, we're not going to charge you to come in and hang out.
Yeah, me and Bill came up a few months ago, just crashed on the couch for a few hours, and
I would think it'd just be
Should I go
open
over
the
here?
doors to everybody and let everybody know that we have this program in place, and until we feel a real pain from it, and we start noticing that it's maybe being abused or something, then figure out some framework for it. But for right now, just so every coworker across the state knows, we've talked about this, you're welcome, we're gonna make it as flexible for you as possible, and easy for you as a coworker.
so is this something that we should all sort of advocate to our current and potential members coming into our spaces, like, hey, join here in Bryan, you can go down to Carolina.
We tell members.
Absolutely.
We tell
Is that something you
prospects coming in that,
Yeah.
we're part of the visa
Yeah, we
program,
do.
if you need to go X or Y.
At the prospect level, we tell them
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I
Definitely.
would think maybe just have the space owner call to the other one. It's kind of like when I worked at a golf course. If you want to go play at another golf course, your pro calls their pro and says, hey, my guy's coming over here. Okay, that's fine. In terms of
We're just
quick
about to
little-
put our member directory up online, so that it's kind of like the
They can check
gig
in.
board kind of thing, but at least, you could go to some place. and
Verify
go,
that
oh,
Yeah,
there they are,
verify
they're
they're there.
members, right?
I think too, because, San Antonio and Austin are probably pretty close, and I see several Austin's places opening. And I'm wondering if the very fact that there's going to be more places open and more people, the cities are already somewhat close, if there won't be some heightened traffic. And I think that's good. I don't think that's a bad thing, but, I could see that things might get, more interesting, that they'll start bubbling up a little faster
And even
with the, several
it
locations.
should be more
of
like
it.
inner city.
Yeah, I would think inner city.
Mhm.
In Houston, we've got
That's a
one
good
that's
point.
starting in the next couple months, and we've already got Katy Dock.
Yes.
It's more important to discuss it on the city level because then we're talking co-promotion and co-marketing, and sort of looking at usage patterns of the city. But it's not really. It doesn't cost us anything to let other people in our spaces use everybody else's spaces.
I think it's a little bit difficult for us. I know you guys have a huge space.
Yeah.
Ours is, really small, and we've been maxed out since September, and so we want to be a part of the visa program, but we also don't want our current members to be like, who are these people, and are they paying? And and so it's difficult for us to do that. But if there's some kind of like individual, like, yeah, you want to come by, give us a heads up notice, and we'll make a space for you, instead of just kind of showing up randomly. Because that's even like we schedule day pass visitors now in order to do that too. So we're very open to it. We just have to make it fit.
So you think that should be something that, as the catalyst from our spaces representing, we go back and tell our guys, hey, we've got this thing over, da-da-da, oh, and if you happen to go to conjuncture, not to single y'all out or make it sound like y'all have crybabies about it, but I'm saying, I'm saying not to say that, no.
That's the exact
Like,
right.
they're the exception to the rule, I'm getting down, I'm not saying that, I'm saying
Well,
that,
just
like,
treat 'em all.
but careful, because they do have minimal space, if you show up and it's kind of packed, just hit a coffee shop, don't,
That's why I go to
Yeah.
commercial.
No, we're open. I mean, a lot of times, most days, there'll be a lot of space, but then some days all the members show up at once, and so it's just kind of hit or miss.
those are the good days.
I mean, it could be that
Yeah.
one day that somebody, 3 people from other spaces show up, and then
Yeah.
they have a poor opinion of conjunction for the wrong reasons.
Right, that's true.
I don't know, this is just totally random, I have no idea how difficult it would be, but having some way to see, like, I don't know, if you pack, like, there's a light that comes on the website, it's like, hey, we got, like, we're 3/4 full, or,
Yeah, in a perfect world, that'd be a great system.
that'd be easy to call it.
I want one of those lights.
Everybody has a
Yeah.
Bluetooth in their ass and a seat and a connection.
Well,
it goes back to this idea though, like the first idea, if we could get something a little bit, like a web presence for this group and for our initiatives, and our initiatives being like the co-working visa program and the federation you just talked about, you know, like a couple of things, then those things could become reality pretty quickly and easily, and Conjuncture could pop it up on our web presence, and now everybody knows, like, hey, Conjuncture needs some flow today, and or, you know, has space finally. So one of our members has been wanting to check out Conjuncture all month, and we're like, hey, go check out Conjuncture today. You know, so like, maybe that tool becomes a lot more important.
So this is starting to solidify. We're starting to see some uses for that.